welcome to Conspiracy Week.
This is going to be a good one. I just told Lindsay I had to put my feet up for this
one. So welcome to Conspiracy Chronicles. We're just going to be talking about all kinds of things that have been brought up to us, or we've seen on Facebook, or on any social media. Some of them have already been proven to be true. Some of them are only true if you believe, or if you're a free thinker, or you start thinking about things different ways. And some people will just never believe that. I don't know.
Just a disclaimer.
Yes.
So, about the sensitive nature of conspiracy theories and the importance of critical thinking. This episode might be offensive if you let it be offensive, is kind of our opinion. But me and Lindsay could sit here and talk about conspiracy theories all day long. To me, they're fascinating. It doesn't matter what stance you are on the conspiracy theory itself, but it just boggles me how many people believe fact to be fact when it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But okay, so this is something I wanted to bring up. So as a kid, one of the most important people in my life was my grandma. She was the one who always showed me love. She really cared for me. When I think back about love, I think about her. I think about all the things we did together. And so I have nothing but great memories with her. I was sharing this with one of my aunts one day, and my aunt was like, I'm glad somebody has good memories of her. My grandma was an alcoholic. She was very abusive to her children. She was not a good mother. But to me, she was the greatest grandmother I ever had. So it's like you can perceive things differently in life experiences. So I saw her as an amazing human being. There's not very many other people on this earth who saw her as an amazing human being. So it all, comes down to what you've experienced in life, what you've gone through, your experiences on how you see things.
And no two people have walked the exact same path. Yeah. So I guess there's a lot of grace given.
Yeah.
you have to be able to use discernment, and
you have to be, and for me, like, I can see both sides of arguments. Usually it's pretty easy for me to see both sides. So I love to hear a good conspiracy theory because I love to like go back and forth on it. Well, what about this and what about that?
It gets you to thinking. Yeah. Using critical thinking skills.
So one of them we were just talking about a little bit ago. I'm like, do you want to bring up the moon landing? And she's like, the moon landing? What?
The moon landing happened, Lindsay.
She's like, I've been to
we went to NASA.
Yeah, she went to
NASA. I saw a moon rock and I got to touch it.
And so it's fact.
It's fact. Someone could have gone in their backyard and dug it up the day before, and it was a moon rock.
And that's how I felt for a long time. And then I had one of my friends come up to me, and they're like, well, the moon landing was faked. I'm like, what are you talking about? How's this? What do you mean?
I've seen the spaceship they took to the moon.
And he's like, well, okay. So they have a video of Neil Armstrong jumping off and saying, one step for mankind, right? Well, there's somebody already off the ship taking that picture. So he really wasn't the first person on the moon. Lie number one. Obviously, truth. He wasn't the first man on the moon. There was somebody else there outside to take that picture. And then the flag flowing in the wind there's no gravity there. Also, same with footprints. Like, he explained that, and then he was like, do you think they had the technology to stream direct from the moon to everybody's TVs? Because they showed it as he was jumping off the spaceship on everybody's TV in the United States. And it's like,
that's the part that got me thinking. I'm like, man, technology really slowed down. Like, we should be driving flying cars by now if they were able to do that in the 60s.
Yeah. And he's like, have you ever looked at pictures of the spaceship? He's like, it's tinfoil and tent pipes and duct tape together. And I'm like, what?
It's like aluminum tape. Okay, so to be fair, that is true. When we were at NASA, I was looking at the replica. I thought they were the real deal. I didn't know if they were replicas or what. And you wouldn't catch me riding in any of them
And they all went
ever.
to the moon. And another thing is, nobody's ever been there since.
Yeah, why?
Like if we could make it to the moon,
And
so
technology now is so much more advanced. They should be able to we should be able to have a city on the moon now, right?
so I was looking up ways to like debunk things that I heard from him, and one of them I saw was that, well, they conquered it. Why would they need to go back if they already conquered going to the moon? I don't know. Take that as you want, but that's my spiel on the
Oh, I
moon.
just went
So
political in my head. I'm thinking, well, wait, if the United States conquered it, then maybe we should be sending some people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'll just So I just wanted to share, we're just sharing information we've heard from people, and just kind of get you thinking, I guess. So another one that has been proven that is chemtrails. Okay, so forever people called them chemtrails. I had a friend I met. Shout out to Ashley. We met in a grooming at a grooming competition. That was my previous life. I was in the grooming industry, and she brought up chemtrails, and I was like, "You're one of those crazy people." But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, okay. My husband's like, oh, those are just planes. It's just exhaust. And I was like, okay, but why do some leave it and some not?
Have you
And
seen the interviews from pilots, and they actually train them on how to release the chemicals?
well, okay, so long time ago everybody was crazy. Well, now the US government has a patent on it. So it's like fact, it's real, it's true. It's called weather modification, or HAARP.
Okay, so when they have a whole spiel on the news, because everyone watches the news, about global warming,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then the government has a patent on chemtrails.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's US patent 2550324A if you'd like to look it up.
that's insane.
It's, like everybody thinks that people who used to talk about chemtrails were crazy, but now it's just like straight fact. Like that's a fact. The government is modifying our weather. They are creating hurricanes. They are creating storms. They are making those things.
They're playing
They
God.
are covering the sky with clouds. You ever see on a sunny day where it's bright blue? They don't let it stay blue for very long before they send up those planes and start crisscrossing your sky, and before you know it, it's cloudy day. Yeah. And
I mean, I'm all for taking care of our environment, but the whole political global warming and all of that with them being able to do chemtrails, that doesn't seem very forthright,
and once
honest.
you start finding out, like, one of them you thought was a crazy conspiracy theory, it starts sending you down the rabbit hole. Like, okay, well, if they lied about that and everybody's made that up, well,
what else are they lying about?
Yeah, what else is being made up?
So we started talking before we started the podcast, and I was just saying, if anything in the last 2 years, especially with the politics and the news, and COVID was a big one, which we could talk about too. But if it's not something I can see with my eyes, and even then I'm like, is it truth?
Yeah.
Because any news media, whatever you get your information from, is it 100% truth all the time? It just makes you start to I guess, question your resources. It also makes me want to just turn it off because it doesn't bring you joy. It doesn't enhance your life. It's actually really confusing.
And there's so many times where I've seen things where I know it's fact, I know it happened, and then on the news they twist it.
It's manipulated.
Yes. And I'm like, that is not the truth. That's like a half truth. That's
it's
like
manipulated to fit
truth.
their narrative always. And it's not one one side or the other, because they both do it.
all news.
All
news, there isn't
all
a
politics.
single news
Right.
that isn't. I used to think, I watched the National Desk, which I think is fairly down the road center, but there are even times where I'm like, they're leaning a little too right. Like I'm a conservative. Okay. fiscally conservative, stop spending money government.
Yeah.
But
I feel like you're a fairly like free thinker though.
there are things I see on there where I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, you're going too far. Like you're supposed to be right in the middle, and I see you kind of going too far right. Like I just want a news source that's just facts
with no agenda.
Yeah,
Just tell me how it is.
Yeah,
And truth. Like journalism is not the same as it used to be.
it's not. It's just.
And I think there's people out there that want it to be truth,
but they
like,
shut them down.
They don't give them a voice.
Yeah, they
if you tell the
Twitter,
truth,
or they
right?
you're not.
If you tell the truth, you are not. You are going to be, what is it? Shadow banned. You're going to be blocked from being able to share the truth.
Yeah, like all these people on COVID.
Who blocks them?
Well,
that's another conspiracy.
Obviously, the government does, because there are. If you look at the paperwork that Elon Musk dropped, the government was telling Twitter who to ban and who to be quiet.
Oh, I thought it was the owners of Twitter and Facebook and like all those big multi-billionaires that can have way too much say in what can and cannot be shared.
There's emails that came out that
from
showed
the government.
Ooh. Every week.
Isn't that your First Amendment? It's your right.
Who to ban.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, you can't trust anybody. No. And I used to be able to say that I was a Republican. I'm not. I'm not anybody, because I don't trust any form of the government. I kind of feel like I became
anti-government. Yeah. Like, just leave us alone.
Yeah. None of them can be trustworthy, because even if you're local government, they can buy off politicians and get away with whatever they want. So in a physics class I was in the other day, I should have told you this beforehand, but the guy was telling me at the state level in Tennessee, so aluminum wires get hot. And so that's why they changed like wiring in houses to go to copper. But copper is really expensive. It's like 2 or 3 times more expensive than aluminum. And so they made a law that outlawing aluminum, which we had in our Florida house. So any house built before 1970 was built with aluminum wires. That's why they're more susceptible to burn, because the wires inside the wall get really hot. Well, he was telling me that D.R. Horton went to the legislators in your state capital, wherever it is, and lobbied there and paid for their campaigns, rerunning their campaigns,
so they could use aluminum wire in their housing.
So they changed the law so that now D.R. Horton can use aluminum wiring in their house.
That's not the first time I've heard that. It wasn't electrical, but I heard that they did, like, okay, so you know how studs have to be a certain distance within the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Have you? I mean, you've done
16.
Yeah. Have all your studs been 16?
Nope.
No.
I have some are 24.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I heard they pretty much tried to change the rules, which is, this is such a political thing. They changed the rules so that they can make it work, make their agenda work.
Yep. And that was a Republican-led house in Tennessee that they got paid off to do that. So, like, I don't trust left or right. Everybody can be paid off at any time.
It just shows you how broken people can be.
Yeah.
Though.
I mean, really, money will really change everybody and everything.
Ooh, does money segue into like celebrities? We were just talking about Taylor Swift. My Swifties.
I've seen a lot of things where she's like the whole like
Illuminati. Is it Illuminati?
Yeah, the signs and the New World Order and all that. Yeah. You see her doing those kind of signs all the time. But if I watched her video, the Eras tour that she has out on TV with my daughter, who loves. I don't tell her she can't listen to music. I mean, some I guess I do, but she went through a phase where she really liked Taylor Swift. And we watched that video together. And in her tour, she's walking around in a wizard cape, witchcraft cape, over her head, and she's holding like these magic balls, and there's magic balls like floating on the stage and stuff. And I'm like, she's like conjuring a spell right now. And everybody who watched the Super Bowl this year, she did something at the end of the show, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it was Taylor Swift witchcraft that helped them win the game." I don't know that that's true, but
I mean, I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not a pop culture. I couldn't name a song that she sings.
Yeah, I unfortunately know almost all of them, but
But I mean, I have heard all the theories, and of like her selling her soul.
yeah. Supposedly, I mean, if you want to get big, the only way to do it is to really sign a contract and sell your soul. I saw a football player who was about to be signed. I saw it on TikTok. He was about to be signed for, $20 million contract or something. He's in his kitchen just bawling over it. You think, why? I mean, I guess like you could cry if you're so excited, but um I I saw him bawling, and the guy who was explaining it was saying he knows what's in this contract. He knows what he has to do. He has to shut his mouth and tote the line and able to get this $20 million. And I was like, really, even football players? Like,
Yeah, did you see the interview with Mahomes about
no,
his contract? I mean, I know that their contracts. I didn't realize there's a lot of stipulations in their contracts.
really.
Yeah,
I
like they
didn't
can't go on certain vacations. They can't go to certain countries. They can't. I mean, you're pretty much selling yourself because
really.
they own him.
Yeah,
I mean, he obviously he can't like go skydiving or whatever because of injuries. But it wouldn't make it surprise me if they have other things in there
right.
that stipulate like your life.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
It's
It's
crazy. Money is the root of all evil. Except we need it to like have groceries.
survive. Yeah.
But hey, I've heard. Well, this is side note, but I've heard that sometimes the poorest people are the happiest. You've
Mhm.
heard that, right?
You're right. Yeah. Yep. I mean, you
I
live
mean,
your
there
life
must be something
simple.
to it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Like so many things to go over. Where do we go? So, another one that was proven fact that people don't believe that they were actually fact. um, Aliens, right?
Who
Everybody's
built the pyramids?
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
That's a tough one.
That's the only thing I've heard like associated with aliens, like for sure helped build the pyramids, right?
uh,
Have you heard that?
Easter Island, those big huge heads, they were supposedly like gifts from aliens,
And all these people with
and then
sightings.
they're like covered, you just see the head. Supposedly if you dig down there's a whole body. So there's this whole conspiracy about a mudslide. Have you ever heard of the mudslide
No.
conspiracy? My husband showed it to me one day. I just love to hear different theories. I don't know that I believe it or not, but supposedly you can see signs of it all over the world where like buildings used to be taller, but there was a mudslide and now it's like a basement part of it, or the heads on Easter Island have bodies underneath and it shows where there was a mudslide that covered it. I haven't really looked into it. I don't have that much information on it, but it's a new theory for something for everybody to look up.
Yeah.
um, you can find on TikTok videos of it, and it's intriguing actually.
You
But
go down the rabbit hole probably.
yeah. um, and then there's another one that's been around for a long time, and I wish I would have wrote down some of the theories on both sides of it because I I don't know what to believe in it, but flat Earth.
No, for sure. I don't believe in it.
I should have wrote down some of the points on it because there's some things where people bring up, and I'm like,
My mathematical brain, so that's what my background is in, cannot fathom that the earth is flat because of like geometry and spheres and the curvature of the earth and the
mm-hmm,
rotation of the earth. And if we were just a disc spinning,
right.
airplanes can literally go up in the air and fly, and it's arched. It's not
Um,
like flat. See,
I should have
I
wrote down
couldn't do
some
it.
of the things.
I mean, I know that I've heard that.
And
There's
I
a whole
thought
group of
I
people that
thought
believe the
flat
earth is
earthers.
flat.
Yes, Leo. My husband knows so much more on the whole flat Earth theory, and
We're going to have Leo as a guest speaker.
yeah, we'll do a whole one on some different conspiracy theories with him.
We'll have to definitely do a disclaimer.
Yes. I mean, there's so many to get to, and we're already like 20 minutes into our show.
Oh, we can do this again. This is fun.
Oh, for sure. And it's like going so quick. Because we didn't even touch on it, like 9/11, politician cloning of and anybody, I guess, cloning.
The only time I've heard anything about that is with Biden.
With Biden?
Mm-hmm.
What about Kanye?
What?
Oh.
Kanye's cloned?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's weird.
Okay, he was weird. Do you see how he's not so weird anymore? Like, he's not like ranting and raving on social media. So one of the last things he posted was
I feel like that might be legal, right?
What?
Like they told him, hey, shut your mouth. Because he's like crazy.
Yeah. He's like, if I disappear, I've been murdered and cloned. And then he disappeared for like 2 weeks and came back with a wife.
Okay, shoot. If they can figure out how can figure out how to clone people, they need to share this technology with like average citizens.
Yeah.
I would totally clone my third kid. Best baby ever. And like dogs. Yeah. Oh, I can't say that. No, but seriously, they need to share that with like the public. And if they can clone people, they can cure cancer.
But they don't want people to know. Like, I mean, think about it. They didn't even want the public to know that the little flying saucers in the sky were real.
I need to be a politician. I got in the wrong field.
Get all the information.
Be like an elitist politician. Forget you guys.
So cloning is another one. There's a whole rabbit hole to go down on that. And I would like,
I really have only heard that about Joe Biden, like during the election when he was running. Because if you actually hear him speak and have like an interview, and
his
then you
face is completely
different. I know, and he can't even like hold a conversation.
But then there's some days where you see him where he's like spot on and he gets it.
They forgot to put the chip in that day.
Yeah, it's like, dude, somebody might want to come out and give that guy his shot. Yeah, he is not with it right now.
He needs to be recharged.
And then like Project Blue Beam.
What's that?
Oh, it's a patented thing. So it's where they, the government has made like this blue beam project to make people think that Christ came back, to trick people into believing that God is coming back. So yeah, what? That's a whole rabbit hole.
Could you imagine if you were the person that got to be Jesus coming back? In this whole conspiracy theory?
It's all holograms. It's all fake. It's all not real. And they've created these
holy cow
beams that are able to do it. Also, supposedly they use the Project Blue Beam to burn down Hawaii. So
okay, on the bit when they had those fires.
Yeah, like
okay, yes, I have heard this.
Blue.
Justin was talking about this. Okay, yeah, because the blue cars were like untouched.
Yes.
Okay, yes, now I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And but I didn't realize it was a faking of the whole like Jesus coming back thing until I looked it up the other night, and that's like a huge it's been around since like the late 80s. One of the guys who worked in the government came out and said, hey, the government's doing this behind everybody's back and they're planning to do this thing.
The thing that I think is weird even about those fires is like you heard it was like we heard everything about when it was happening, and then radio silence
disappeared because people started questioning
like radio
what really
silence.
Happened. I mean, like, so everything burned, but it didn't burn like Oprah's house, and it didn't burn like Mark Zuckerberg's house.
Of course not.
Like, I don't know. It just, there's fishy things out there. And Pizzagate. No.
Okay, I go by we just talked about this too. I don't do
I know
technology and news.
And when I first met her, I'm like, how do you feel about conspiracy theories? She's like, nah. So I get it.
I'm like in a bubble. No, yeah. I am in like a little tiny little bubble, and if it doesn't happen in my bubble, it's like non-existent.
Okay, so politicians.
I'm an ostrich.
Politicians molesting children. They have emails of it, and they call the boys The girls are pizza and the boys are.
Is this like Epstein Island?
What's the boys? Oh, okay, so there was a whole file drop on this like last 2 years ago. Was it who did the file? The guy they want to put in jail. Huh?
It's not
Assange. Yeah. What's his Julian Assange. So he did a file drop with it that showed all the politicians talking about in code about raping, molesting children, it all happening in the DC area, kidnapping kids.
Oh, that makes me sick to my stomach.
So maybe we'll have to do a whole episode on Pizzagate sometime.
Leo's just
My
hovering.
husband's just like,
he's ready to jump in right now.
Then there's the whole, Michelle Obama's really Michael Obama and President
She's gonna be the next president too, right?
He is gonna be.
Yeah. First woman.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know about that. I was just pulling up ones that I've seen and heard of, and then of course the whole COVID-19. We didn't even hardly touch on that, and the whole vaccines where they shut you down if you said anything, and now there's actual proof and studies that came out. You see, but 99 million people, and they've shown it causes myocarditis, which is heart attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Enlarging of the heart.
Did you see the blood clots coming from the brain? Mm-hmm. Is that where it was coming from?
COVID-19 shots.
Oh my goodness. The crazy thing to me is like you see all these like articles and they're like backed by doctors and medical professionals, right? But they paint a picture that if you didn't get vaccinated, you're not following medical advice.
Yep.
But what about all these medical professionals that are like, no,
they shut them all down. They told them to shut up,
and no news media is covering it.
No, but they 99 million people were in this study.
Wow.
And yeah, I think I did hear it on ABC News or something the other night with
really?
Lester Holt or something maybe. I think it is starting to come out.
Yeah, but then
they shut you down. They made everybody stop. I saw also a news article the other day that they spent $8.2 million of yours and my money and everybody else who pays taxes. $8.2 million they paid podcasters to push vaccines in their podcasts. Yeah. They're spending ridiculous amounts of money on things like that.
I feel like this could get us really started because then you start questioning all vaccines and then you start questioning medical professionals. And now you have like such a distrust in the country with our medical, like
our politicians, our doctors, or
everybody.
Anybody. Yeah.
Really.
Like, how do you trust anybody? Because money will make anybody do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like you give there is a line, even I have to say, I'm human. There's a line where people are like, if you do this, I will give you $300 million. Like
you'll be set for life. Your kids will have free rides to college. You'll never have to worry about where your food's coming from.
Like there is a line where it's like anybody would turn unethical for a certain amount of money. Everybody has a payoff amount.
What's your payoff amount?
I have no clue. It depends what it is. I do have to say, if anybody wanted to harm or do anything to my children, there's not a single amount in the world that you can.
What about Leo? Just kidding.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it's crazy.
I just, yeah. And then the whole New World Order. Like, I feel like we really haven't even got to touch on anything, and we're already out of time.
Yeah, we're going to have to do another one of these. This is fun.
Might have to make this like a monthly one and just focus on one topic per week and break
it down. Ooh, we can have people make suggestions.
Yes.
We can like all go down the rabbit hole together.
I love it. So what else would you guys like to, what am I missing here? I tried to get as many written down as I could, but I know we're missing lots.
Mm-hmm.
And there's things I've never even heard of that I'm like, I might be interested in looking into.
Mm-hmm.
So give us your opinions. What do you have out there? What have you heard? What do we need to look into? And we will maybe start doing a conspiracy one once a month, maybe, and just kind of breaking it down and talking about it, because it's big. It's our life. It's things that are going on right now in every day. And
it makes you think critically. That's all. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be black or white. Just
yeah, no,
come with an open mind.
I like to give both sides of it because they're really, I mean, you're going to be able to come to your own opinion then. I don't want anybody shoving one side of it down my throat because then I'm going to think that there's an agenda.
Why are they
there.
trying so hard to make it their opinion the only opinion that matters?
Yeah. Yep. So, and I feel like that's, I'm just going to get political here for a second. I don't like Joe Biden and I don't really like Trump. I think Trump was a good president at the time, but watching everybody try to shut him down and silence him and take away all of his money makes me question,
why are they trying so hard
yeah,
to shut his mouth?
Yeah. So,
I don't know. I mean, we can get political for a second. I don't like either one of them very much either. I don't think they're very good people. Like I always told Justin, I was like, I like Trump. I wouldn't let him babysit my kids.
Right.
And I think because I'm such like a root for the underdog person, like even like for the Super Bowl, I had to root for the Chiefs, for you guys, but I root for the underdogs. And you're right. Every turn he makes, he's hit with a block wall from somebody, which makes me want to root for him more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, really that many people are against him? There's something to it. They're trying to keep him away. They're trying to shut him down. They're trying to silence him because.
And why are all the elitists pushing for one other person?
Yeah.
I mean, not to talk bad about the elitists. They don't relate. How can you relate to like our real life?
Yeah.
It's like they living in a totally different
in a billionaire fantasy.
Yeah,
that
you can't possibly relate.
And Leo said something, or my husband said something about X or Twitter or whatever you call it the other day, and Elon Musk, and I'm like, I don't trust him either. I know he comes out
he's a multi-billionaire,
like he's a proponent of free speech and all that, but
when it fits his agenda.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't trust it. I don't trust him.
I guess I mean, we're gonna have to do this again.
Yes.
I don't have a quote this week, but we were talking about it. If there's one piece of advice we could give you, turn off the news and just be with your family.
Be with your family. Yeah, spend time with your family.
Don't let the things happening around the world, don't let the things happening here in our country, don't let it affect the joy that you can bring your family.
Yep. So enjoy your week.
Yeah. Have fun.
And we look forward to you next week. As always, find us on MikeMoms.com. Follow Kristen Mike Mom on Kristen Moms on the Mic on Instagram. But you can find all of our social media and everything on our website, MikeMoms.com. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
This was a fun one.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next one.
Bye.